आइए सुनते हैं कि बाजार, फाइनेंशियल सेक्टर और इंडस्ट्री के कुछ और दिग्गजों की बजट पर क्या राय है।
I think the market rallied for two reasons. One is very low expectations, which is actually a good way of leading a good life, to have low expectations in life, and B, the absence of any clear negatives in the short term. But the rally being sustainable, I think, will be defined more by global reasons.
The denominator effect is working in the finance minister's favor, and I actually want to make a point in that connection about a very significant structural change which is taking place in capital flows. On the one hand, you have the portfolio flows from overseas. On the other hand, you have domestic flows, particularly institutional and from the insurance sector. And over last 2 or 3 years, the balance has changed, and now you are saying your expectations of FII flows versus domestic institutional flows is more or less matched. And this is a very significant change, because the less we get dependent on global flows, the stronger is the ability of the Indian market to demonstrate resilience.
This is very much on expected lines, and therefore I believe there is a sense of relief that this is not more painful than had been anticipated. It is 2% increase was almost being not merely anticipated. I got a feeling that people were just about almost welcoming it, which is a very, very funny state of affairs. But I think the relief is because, as originally feared, the removal of the stimulus and the retraction would probably was expected to be more painful, which has not happened. I think the fact that the fiscus is still under control, the fact that there is a fairly significant step up in terms of investment programs, I think they've all come as positive feelings. But this is, let me say, this is not a game-changing budget. Perhaps we should not be expecting a game-changing budget, but purely as an incremental conservative budget to keep the economy on track, I think it's pretty good.
Excise duty has gone up from 8% to 10%, and there's a 25% increase, because 2% on 8% is 25%. That will make all goods much more expensive. Custom duty has come down, so for manufacturers in India, it will become harder to sell because the cost has gone up. It could also hurt industrial production. While on the direct tax side, there's been a fantastic move to reduce taxes for all of us. On the indirect tax, it has gone up. And I think inflation will be the major challenge for the next 12 months.